There's a situation that has happened right here in my local market that I think is important enough to bring up so that other people can be aware of the situation. Essentially, the situation is this lady had her house for sale. So she gets a buyer. That buyer is an unrepresented buyer. Whether or not she was represented, I am not 100% sure about. People can represent themselves just like you can in a courtroom. Now, whether or not you are an unrepresented buyer or you have representation, there are lots of things behind the scenes that have to go into place. You don't need to be represented, in this and that and everything else. Yes, you do. Would you want to represent yourself in a courtroom? Buyer, somehow or another develops this relationship with this seller. How that happened, I'm not 100% sure. What are some of the things that have to go into place behind the scenes that make it a little bit more challenging to sell a house for sale by owner or to be an unrepresented buyer? Making sure that you hire a title company or an attorney, a real estate attorney, to do the behind the scenes title searches, deed preps, collecting of the money. Super important. So all of these things need to be in place by other professionals. You have to deliver your earnest money deposit in a timely manner. Okay. Did that happen? I don't know. But we're going back to the relationship part of it. The buyer and the seller have now developed this relationship, and the buyer, has fed her a whole bunch of stuff, like to feel sorry for him. So he's feeding her these stories. Like, I think he said he has cancer or whatnot. And according to the article, which I will link the article so that you can read them. But according to the article, he was giving the seller a generous amount of money for personal items like a lawnmower, and some other, I'm assuming, high ticket personal items. Again, a few things are missing from the story. Gives her, this check. Meanwhile, this property closes, but the funds were never received. The seller never received the funds. Somewhere along the line, the seller was like, red flags. This buyer has now made possession into her home, and she did not receive the funds. Buyer has also tried to send a wire. Tried. It was declined. The bank, there was some red flags, and then the $22,000 check, that also bounced. So another red flag. So many things, so many questions. I don't get it. She proceeds to go to the Caroline County Sheriff's Office and I guess try to file charges or press charges against this person. There's a lot of things happening here. Caroline County, props to them. They really did some deep dive investigation. And as far as I know, this happened very quickly. And there's a lot of real estate scams going around. There's actually a TikTok one that one of my friends has sent me that the Caroline County Sheriff's Office is also aware of. The Sheriff's Office did their due diligence. They found out that the ID was fake. Everything's fake. Everything's fraud. Well, then I guess the buyer started to find out or get wind about, hey, you're getting investigated. Like, you're living in a house that doesn't even belong to you. I was trying to flee, I guess, the country, at least the state. He was on his way. He was at the Richmond International Airport. He was hopping on a plane. He was going, peace out. Police were able to intervene. The Caroline County's office intervened with the Richmond Police Department, and all is well with that. The moral of me discussing all of this and making sure that everybody is aware of what's going on, importance of having proper representation. So as a real estate professional, I am working with the other side, whether they're unrepresented or not. And I have worked with unrepresented buyers, and I take the lead. I take control over everything. Your real estate agent will also be working with these reputable title companies. And so you have a team working together to protect your client, whether the client's the seller or the buyer. And in this case, we're going to talk about the seller, but we are a team. We're going to protect our sellers. So if my title company is not receiving the earnest money deposit in the amount of time that the contract says that it needs to be in, I'm on the phone with the agent. I'm like, hey, where is our money? Or if it's an unrepresented buyer, I'm saying the exact same thing. Where is our money? You are breach of contract. And then that's the end of it. This is one of the biggest assets of your life. Make sure you're represented properly and nobody is getting scammed out of money or a house or anything else. Who you work with absolutely matters, and that goes both ways, good and bad. So